With Arsenal struggling with injury problems to their strikers over the last couple of years, there is a thought that Arsenal might need more depth there, more importantly a project signing. Now in this video we're going to look at Karl Etta Eyong, who there's been credible links to Arsenal in January and in the summer, and why this youngster is making big clubs consider their future. So let's get into it. Now it might seem weird to already be doing a transfer video, but this guy has been coming up quite a lot in the recent weeks, and I genuinely think Arsenal have a credible chance of getting him in January, which could help us over the line. Now a big part of this obviously is Gabriel Jesus leaving, which might happen in January but might happen in the summer more importantly, but this guy is a project striker that can get us over the edge, with Havertz and Woklz both being a late 20s, which could be that youngster that we see in great light, and I genuinely think this talent is worth talking about. Now, Karl Etta Eyong is one of the most interesting players in Europe right now. A player that was playing in Cameroon just 4 years ago at the age of 18. He has come through Cadiz's B team and then Villarreal's B team, and up to last season was playing majority of the games at semi-pro level in Spain, playing for the B team and being incredible, scoring 19 out of 30 games. Now, this season, not only did he join Levante from Villarreal, their big local rivals, in a move that was only 2.6 million long, he has been phenomenal as well. And not only does he have 9 goal contributions in just 12 games this season, totaling to around 980 minutes, he has been touted by teams like Real Madrid, Barca and Chelsea, as well as Arsenal, who really want to get him in. But why is he just so good? Now, I think the first way to categorize this player as he is a very aggressive, a very quick player as well. A lot of the times that you will see his moves for Levante is where he runs in behind off the last defender and gets into them areas. Now, he is a player that likes running on both sides, but actually runs a lot more on this left side, which may be beneficial for Arsenal. But he's a player that's always pushing the line back, and he's always been super willing to allow players to play him through. Now, although he has got a goal around every 146 minutes this season, he can be a little bit lackluster with some of his ball striking. He often goes for power rather than placement, and a lot of the time he can just smash a ball over the top in one-on-one situations and not necessarily place it into the corner. But I think his finishing this season has been good in different metrics. Now, first of all, if you look at his shot map, it looks incredible. Not only is every shot he having is a 0.2 on average, which is very high for every shot to have. You look at where he's having them, in the centre, in the box, where you want your striker shooting more importantly. So he's shown that he isn't wasting shots from outside the box, and he's getting into good areas before he shoots, which is great. One of the major reasons for this is because of how good he is inside the box. He is someone that is so alert to danger and so alert at being in the right position that he almost just springs into the right area when he needs to. There's a few goals he has scored for Levante this season where he has peeled off a defender, gone into the front post into an area so quickly that people can't react, and the ball will go into him. Not only can he be prolific in a quick shot, but in the air at only 5'11" has scored some really good headers this season where he comes in, he flicks it off and goes into the corner, which I do think can be something that highlights even more. Now, this is why a lot of his goals are going to be these sort of bounces in the box, him going to be alert, sort of second balls. And a lot of the times he scores from very close to the goal, not only because he can't miss, but he's someone that is very prolific at getting into them right positions to help the team. And he has scored some fantastic goals this season where he's just got on the edge of good moves. Now, something about Etta Eyong, which I do think is quite interesting, is that his passing stats on paper don't look amazing. He makes one of the lowest amount of passes per game in Europe. He doesn't have a great completion rate either. And in a progressive terms, he isn't someone that's going to carry the ball or pass the ball through. He's not really that natural creator in that way. However, like I mentioned earlier, he's already got a couple of assists this season, and a lot of that is in the box work being fantastically really good. Not only is he so alert at finding the passes, but in the box he really comes alive, being able to set players up in passes across goal or cutbacks, which he often does. And although he's not the best passer, a lot of his deeper work in terms of one-touch passing can be okay at times. He's just not someone that gets on the ball a huge amount, because he is the player running off the ball and waiting for it the entire time. But I could definitely see some elite teams developing him into being this player that comes deeper, passes the ball off and then runs in behind after, which could be an interesting development to his future. But this is where we talk about the threat of Etta Eyong, and I think a lot of it comes from then sort of transitional plays. He prefers having a lot of space, I'd say, from deeper areas to get in behind. In the box, I think he works in very congested boxes very well. He can find shots, get into the right areas, but he's not always going to be that man that really finds the ball there. If he doesn't get get it. If he doesn't make a move that is found, then he just won't bother and kind of will sit around. But I do like something about him. I love the counter-attacking potential. I love the pace that he has. This guy is insanely quick. Let's not get it wrong, that when he gets into full flow, which he does quite quicker than someone like Woklz, for instance, it is electric. And he's so fast in these areas that on the transition, when you can stretch defenses easily and when he runs in behind so quickly, it will catch people off guard. And I think we've talked about Woklz's ability to do that being really good for Arsenal. This guy has that and can run on both sides, which I also think is a key point. Skill Corner are actually saying that he's logged the most explosive accelerations per game in La Liga this season, reaching speeds of at least 20 kilometers an hour from standing or walking starts. This shows that he has that real impact, powerful play from standing to running, and his acceleration and sprint speed is incredible. So I do think that is something you would want to use more, getting him into space and counter-attacking, a bit like Arsenal have tried to do more playing this direct style. And there's no secret that this guy is clearly doing a lot in the final third, because you look at the highest XGs between under 21 players in Europe and he's third on the list, or very high on the list, quite a lot. You look at the chances that he's getting into the box, he's being quite clear, and this is for a Levante side that just got promoted, so not necessarily the best team you're going to get. But something you will get with a lot of these players that play for these sort of lower clubs, no disrespect to Levante, is that there's sometimes, because they know they've got that quality or that ability, he may not defend as much as other players, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, just straight looking at his stats, you can see that for a striker, Etta Eyong is making some incredible amount of defensive contributions per game. Tackles, interceptions, it's all on a high. But there's so many moments where I have watched him now where there'll be a team kind of breaking across away from the attacking line, and he will just sprint all the way from his central area out wide or anywhere on the pitch to make that tackle. Now, obviously, with a little bit of assurance, a little bit more of guidance from like a team like Arsenal, you would expect him not have to go out of position and keep making this run. But this work rate and this due diligence to do this for a team like Levante is incredible. And I think when you play for a bigger side and they tell you when to go back and when not to, he will become that great player, because he showed he has that work rate and wants to win the ball back whenever possible, even if he is not someone that has a huge amount of touches. And this is the thing with Etta Eyong. He's not a guy that's going to be on the ball a huge amount. He's not going to be a Kai Havertz. He is more that Woklz type striker where he's going to be off the last line waiting for it and not really touch it. With his sheer explosiveness, with his sheer pace, I do think there's a lot of potential there. And he can easily maybe play in the wing in the future. He's not the best dribbler in the world. I think sometimes he gets kind of stuck in his mind of what he's going to do, but I think that can be improved, and I think he's got a lot of potential there. And something with him is that he's a very instinctual striker. A lot of the time, if he has a long time to think about when to shoot, he often messes it up. And obviously you expect that from a young player, which you often see. But the instinctual part is, I think, the best part about it. When he has the instinct, when he has that sort of natural ability in the box to pick up loose balls, to pick up goals in that moment and find finishes as well, I think that is something that you can really build on. And he already has that. He's only 22 years old. Don't get me wrong. This guy is very young considering the fact he's only just started playing at a top 5 league. You might be saying, well, it might be a bit of a risk. But if you look at the finances involved around the deal, apparently they want around 30 million euros, but it might be around 15 to 20 mil. Admittedly, they literally spent 2 mil on him 5 months ago, so I'm sure Levante will take any money they can get, especially if it's around 20 mil. I think that's a great profit they've already made. And then that becomes one of them deals where you have to get done, or at least try to. And I get for Arsenal, the fit is a bit complicated with Jesus, Havertz and Woklz. I think Jesus will probably leave. Unfortunately, this guy probably isn't as good as Jesus right now, but at least he might be fit, and at least he's young and hungry and wants to come in. But we've seen it with so many strikers around Europe over the last couple of years when they have 1 or 2 good 6 months and they get bought for a huge amount of money, and then you never see them again. I know Rasmus Højlund is not the best example because he didn't do great at United, but he had 6 good months at Atalanta and then got bought. You know, Nicholas Jackson had 6 good months at Villarreal and then got bought by Chelsea. And we've seen it with players like Bonny, who are now at Inter, who was great last season for Parma, but before last season wasn't really touted that highly. And I think that's the same with Etta Eyong. He's finally been given a moment to shine in the top league because he was playing in the 3rd or 4th tier, which is crazy enough. And not only is he showing some sort of experience as being this off-the-ball striker that we don't see a lot of players in, it comes in a time where people are really looking for project strikers to work on. It's something that Arsenal and other teams will want, and I think he's a player for around £20 million I would be happy to see a sign. It's one of them risks that you have to take sometimes, and maybe with a new scout, maybe with Berta, that'll be what they think is worth it, because obviously La Liga is a big hunting ground for a lot of our scouting and recruitment that we make. Now let me know in the comments what you guys think about this video, and if you like this video, please go and watch my video the other day. If not, I'll see you in the next one.